John McNamara, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thrilled to be here, Greg. This is wonderful. Thank you.
There's a few things I want to talk about, the McNamara Project, the Blues Guitar Roadshow. But first I wanted to get some context, a bit of background. You're a singer-guitarist. Which came first?
Oh, definitely guitar player. I didn't really sing at a gig till I was over 30,
All right.
which was last week. Only joking. I'm unfortunately a lot older than that now, but I played guitar in bands all through high school, that kind of thing. I was working in cover bands when I was 17 still, from then onwards, but it wasn't until, yeah, I think it would have been turning 30. I always did backing vocals. I thought, no, I want to try it. I want to get out and sing. A lot of people kept telling me that I had a bit of talent there, and I haven't looked back since. I really enjoy singing, and over time, especially these days, it become a little bit more of a passion than the guitar playing. I must admit, I'm a vocal nerd. I love learning about it and listening to great singers.
Yeah. What were your influences growing up?
It really kicked off for me. I was the guy in high school when everyone was listening to Guns N' Roses, and I was going around flying the John Farnham flag, and I was copping it from everywhere, and I didn't care. I stood by and say, "No, no, piss off! This guy's is the best around." I still stand by it, and it's funny. All those guys from high school now, they've all come around, and everyone realises just what an absolute icon he was. So he was my first thing I got into musically. I bought all these tapes and all that kind of thing, and went really down that rabbit hole of being a John Farnham fanatic. When I started playing guitar when I was 14, I got right into the rock and roll stuff. Van Halen, huge Van Halen fan. The other big ones for me at that time would have been Mr. Big, Extreme, and of course your Steve Vais, Joe Satriani. All the stuff of that time was just such a big influence for all those guitar players, and Tommy Emmanuel and people like that. So it was definitely rock and roll to start with. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did it turn down the soul road?
The Soul Road. Well, blues came next, and that sort of came about through guys like Gary Moore. And Jeff Healey. Those two in particular, because they were still had their feet kind of one foot in the rock scene in the way they play, especially Gary Moore. It was kind of like a halfway drug for me. I heard Gary Moore album. It wasn't Still Got the Blues. It was the next one, which was called After Hours. And I remember hearing that, and I went, "Fuck, there's something else going on. He's not just playing like Eddie Van Halen or Malmsteen or something. There was something entirely different happening, and that really hooked me. And of course, from there I went back all the way to Sun House, or as far back as you could go. You just start really diving deep into a genre when you get that love for it. And pretty soon after that, I really I got into a lot of the soul singers because it was mainly the voice I was listening for, and I don't think you get better showcase of vocals than with soul music. So Sam Cooke was probably my biggest go-to guy in the soul world, and still is. And I love, gosh, Otis Redding, Al Green. I love those guys. All that Memphis sort of soul singers have really appealed to me.
Yeah. Speaking of Memphis, in 2019, you formed the McNaMarr Project with Andrea Marr, great Melbourne-based singer. You ended up in Memphis. You won the International Blues Challenge. Um, how was that experience?
It was great. I mean, we've both done it before. I did it as a soloist. Andrew had done it, I think, twice before with a band. And talking about good singers, what a pleasure it is to be standing next to Andrea Marr and singing. I mean, we have such a good time singing together. He's got a great voice. And how it came about, we both had the same publicist in America, and I released an album. It was recorded in Memphis as well, called Rollin' With It, and it reached #1 on some of the blues and soul charts in America. Andrea had an album called Natural the following year. We both used the same publicist, and they both got to #1 on the charts over there. And he said, a New York publicist said, "Do you guys know each other? You sound like the male and female version. Why don't you team up? There'll be nothing like you in the world, like this duet, like a duet kind of soul act anymore." And Andrew and I got together, and the first time we sang, which was just a hotel during the Bendigo Blues Festival. We had nothing rehearsed. We just got together and said, all right, let's try some things. And we went, wow, that's it clicked instantly. And we went straight into competing in the Blues Challenge. I don't know how we got through to Memphis, because we were writing and rehearsing backstage. We didn't see each other because we live hours apart. And somehow we made it to Memphis, and we got signed there, which was a huge bonus. That goes beyond competing. You got these opportunities that will pop up when you're in those kind of places. So it's good.
The other successful thing that you've begun doing is the Blues Guitar Roadshow, which is sort of based around the McNaMarr Project. And
Yeah, we have.
Andrea's like a singer MC for the roadshow.
Yeah, Andrea is a great MC for the roadshow. How that one come about? I know that Jeff ACHISON has used, the McNaMarr Project band as well, and I'm putting together the Ballarat Blues Festival. This will be our 4th year coming up in August, and it was originally a concept for that, and it was me trying to make money work. Can we share a band? Can we get a few headliners in? That kind of thing. That's where it started out. COVID came along and stopped that particular thing happening. But then we had a little break in one of the COVID times, and we put it together. I called it the Blues Guitar Roadshow, and I took the concept to Memo in St Kilda just a few years ago, and we sold out. It was a limited capacity because of the way they had to spread everyone out, and everyone had masks on. We were wiping the microphones down with disinfectant. It was crazy. No one was allowed to dance, that kind of thing. But we did one, and it was great. People loved it. We had a ball. So I just carried on from then. It's been a couple of years happening now, and every year I just add a few more shows. And this year I've finally gone basically all that, and I put on a heap of shows. We're traveling interstate and doing a lot more, and the future's looking bright for it. If people keep coming, we'll keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a bass and drummer, or a regular rhythm section?
There certainly is. See, we've got the McNaMarr Project band backing them, and these guys are wonderful. Everyone's been so happy with them because they've really learned the material. And we're not a jam show. Like, people will get showcased. So generally it's a 20-minute set. So coming up at Memo Hall, we've got guys. We've got like Riding Northbound, one of my acts. We've got WILBUR, Jeff ACHISON, LLOYD Spiegel. So everyone has about 20 minutes where they can do all their tricks. They can play original music. And then at the end, what happens, we all come together for a big all-star jam. And, we can have, I think in Memo in 2 weeks from now, we're going to have about 8 guitar players on stage, and really good guitar players. If you don't mind, I'll quickly go over it. This will give you an example of what happens at all of them. We've got LLOYD Spiegel, Jeff ACHISON, standing next to, Justin Yap, Simon KINNY-LEWIS, myself, Shane Gilbert, Sean Klinger, KERRI Simpson, and then you've got guys like WILBUR on sax, Lisa Baird, and we've got all these different guitar tones and styles happening in these solos, and it's really exciting. So it's a great concept. It flows well, kind of like a variety show. We have it very slick, and as you said, with MCs. Even my brother comes out and MCs with Andrea. He does a great job. He's Mr. Showman. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We used to do a similar thing at the Melbourne Guitar Show, getting a lot of those guitarists together, and there was never any rehearsal. It was just all in. Do your guys get to rehearse at all?
Not really. Not for the end jams. Our sound checks are pretty long because there's so much to check. So there's not much time to run any material, but we send songs prior and say, these are the jam songs, have a look over them. And I don't know how, it's chaos. We always make it work. And the band's that good that, everyone watches each other. Everyone's very courteous. And look, we do occasionally have other bands when we're interstate. We do have an interstate band. I know Angus Birchall's on drums from the John Farnham Band for our Wagga and Wangaratta show coming up, because our regular drummer Dave Clark couldn't do it. So there is a bit of, we do have some movement there as well. But yeah, look, it's a unique show, and so far, we've been able to take it into theatres and reach a mainstream audience, which is a big plus for us blues acts, to get out of the blues clubs, which we love, playing for the real fans of the genre that know who we are. But when we go out to some of these theatres and travel, we get a whole different audience of what I call more the mainstream audience. that are getting turned on to Australian blues music,
Yeah.
which is it's not an easy task, but we're sort of achieving that goal at the moment.
Yeah. There's a lot of gear on stage. You must have a good crew.
No, it's just us. We lug it on, and we, it's probably OH&S. We've got leads and stuff everywhere, pedal boards everywhere. No, it's good. I've got a couple of videos on my phone I should post one day where we go and video all the pedal boards for the, all the, what do you call it, the guys, the gigs into the gear. And it's really cool. There's so much stuff on stage and all different amps and things. And yeah, there is a lot, but no, we just set up and make it work. It's very grassroots in that regard. And everyone helps out. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your guitar and rig? What do you use?
Guitar and rig live for a long time. I've been using a harmony guitar, which is a Silhouette. So harmony, as you might know, they're a very old brand of guitar made in, I think, Kalamazoo in America. They've come back out with new guitars, and I love it. It's a beautiful guitar. I don't have it next to me, but this thing, I haven't even announced that I've got this yet, but
Cole Clark.
this is a Cole Clark hybrid, which is beautiful. I'm going to be using it in the studio with Andrea Marr and the band in a few days. We're going to the studio doing a couple of singles, and I'm going to feature it. But this was very, very nicely put into my hands by LLOYD Spiegel and Cole Clark guitars, and I'm thrilled to be, doing these for acoustic and electric, because obviously the Cole Clark hybrid can handle both beautifully. So that's my new baby there. I'm getting set to do some videos for that one as well, and do some promo. LLOYD Spiegel's been a big part of the roadshow, when we're doing a ton with him this year. So I'm very thankful for that, and also for this wonderful instrument next to me.
Yeah. So when you think back of the shows that you've done, what are the strongest memories?
You know what? It's just the people involved. I mean, guys like Jeff Atchison's done all of them. He's done about, I think we're up to 14 or 15, and Jeff's done all of them, which is great. It's just, I've got a couple of favourites in particular. We just did one in Adelaide, it was about a month ago at the Gov, and we had a sold out show, but the vibe there was just insane. Guys like Stephen Hawke and Kathleen Halloran joined us there, as well as Charlie Acorn from Canada, and Jimmy Hocking and Jeff and Lloyd. That show was really special. But for me, I don't take it for granted that I'm on stage with these guys. I'm looking across as they're playing. I'm grinning from ear to ear. Everyone on stage is having a good time, and the collective experience of these people on stage is pretty amazing. I mean, I look across and I see, like Brett Garsett or, WILBUR and these people. I think all the history of these players, and right at that moment, we're all jamming together, having fun. I always make sure I take a few moments during that to really soak it in. And for me, that's a massive joy. And of course, when it's finished and all the hard work's done, hopefully I haven't lost any money. That's a joy as well, because there's a lot of work putting them together.
Yeah. The show we're talking about with Lloyd and Jeff and Wilbur coming up is Saturday, July 12th at Memo Music Hall. Then you go up to Ballarat, close to your home, for the Ballarat Blues Festival. You go to Wagga Wagga, Wangaratta, Warrigal, and then you've got Dave Hole for 3 gigs. Frankston, Castlemaine, and there's another one, I think.
Yeah, Warrigal, he's on as well.
Warrigal, yeah.
So the 3 with Dave are in November, back to back, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And we're thrilled to have Dave involved. That's beautiful. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger for an Australian blues act, really. I mean, his royalty there, which is great. And the Ballarat Blues Festival that's the biggest show I put on each year. So what we call the main event, which is in the Wendouree Performing Arts Theatre, is basically a Blues Guitar Roadshow, but it's just big. We've got 1920 on, and a heap of Checkerboard Lounge and Lloyd's Trio. We just do everything a little bit bigger for that one. Throw the kitchen sink in. So we would love to see more people in the blues scene that are going and visiting these other wonderful festivals like Echuca and all these other things, to come and try out Ballarat Blues. We have music over 3 days in August, and it all sort of accommodates to the big day on the Sunday afternoon. And it's good. It's just to be our 4th year for doing Ballarat and running Ballarat Blues Festival.
Yeah. And generally, what's the duration of a show?
I reckon 3 hours. We try to do 2.5, but it never really works. We always go a bit over. So that's with an interval. Yeah, so 2.5, getting close to 3 often. It's just the nature of it, you know. A couple of sets go a bit longer, and the crowd always asks for another one or two at the end, and we usually oblige.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a long show, but we've really given people the best value for money that we can. There's a lot of entertainment in a short time, and that's a comment we keep hearing from people. They just can't believe how much they got for that time.
So what's the grand plan for John McNamara?
To be honest, more of what we're doing now, and just growing it. So we're doing 9 of these this year. Last year I only did 4. So I'm doing 9. Next year I'm hoping 20 to 25. That'd be great. And we're finally going to get to Sydney and Queensland next year, and really take it on the road. But I would like to do more of that. Andrea and I in the McNaMarr Project have got new material coming out. We're going to release a bunch of singles. And also writing Northbound, the rock band I'm in with Sean Klinger, who's one of the best guitar players in the country, in my opinion. We've finished an album. We're going to start releasing that this year. So I've got a lot of new material coming out, and hopefully building more on the Blues Guitar Roadshow, which is, it's something bigger than what I do myself. Like I can see that as something that's going to have a future, and hopefully be a really positive thing on the Australian blues scene. So I hope it keeps going.
Yeah. Well, we'll list all the dates under this video. John, it's been great to catch up, and look forward to catching your show soon.
And absolutely appreciate the time, Greg. Thanks, man.